Yo, Bachi 2007 back at you with another one. We're going to take a look at this clip from the Good Moms Bad Choices podcast. Go ahead and hit that like button for me before we even get started. Like me up. We really appreciate that. That'll help me out, and we're going to get right into it.
And understand that no, if we get married, they don't come first. It's you. Once you become, and I learned that
You said
it's
if,
an
if you
order.
get if you get married, your husband will become priority, and then the
That's
children.
the biblical order, right? So I try and go by the biblical order, even though that's harder said than done. And I've been on the other side of that not happening twice. And it does interfere a little bit because you're like, when you get married, right? And you become someone's wife, and then there are other things that come before you, you feel it immediately, especially when you've been waiting to be a wife and be first, or feel like desired in that position. Like it can be a thing. You can be a thing, and it's harder to say as a mom with two kids because nothing should come before your
No,
kids.
I don't like should.
Right.
There's no should. Like everybody has what works for them, and like the Bible says this, and this may work for this, and you could believe in the Bible and then still feel this way. And like I think that
Okay, you can see we got this clip from JR Wisdom's page. You can go there and check him out and see what he has to say about it. For me, this whole conversation and the way y'all have this conversation pretty much irks me. But we're going to go ahead and get into this with the LeToya Luckett and the commentary she had, and what this other lady had to come back with in response. And the whole conversation, this whole ideal of creating this competition of who's first is only a thing when, particularly, women make it a thing, almost to denigrate men or to try to sun men, to let them know, hey, when I fix food, I'm gonna make sure the kids eat first, and you can sit over there and wait because you're gonna be an obedient puppy, and I'm gonna do this as a power move to demonstrate to you that you're pretty much a nobody here, and I'm gonna let you see what's happening. She's talking about that's the biblical order. Well, not really. The Bible doesn't really speak to this because there's not a competition. The Bible doesn't speak to a competition between a spouse and children. The, so what it's supposed to be is there's supposed to be order. There's supposed to be order, and everyone in your household needs to be served. Their needs need to be served as they need to be served. It's not about trying to make a competition out of what's going to happen for who. No, everybody should be taken care of as is appropriate to their needs. So it's not a thing of, well, am I going to do things for my spouse and leave my kids uh, not taken care of? Well, of course not. You take care of the kids' needs as they're needed, but likewise, you're not leaving your spouse hanging to go do any and everything for children as if children are some demigods who are supposed to be worshipped. They're not. They're supposed to be taken care of. They are not your little gods who you're supposed to be worshiping and bowing hand and being waiting on them hand and foot. Before we get more into this, I'm going to remind you again to like the video, subscribe, and when you subscribe and you get that drop down, please hit the notification bell at the top to make sure you're getting the alerts for these videos, and we're going to keep on with the program. So when LeToya said that she would put her next husband before her kids, you see how the other banshee over here got her back up and got all stiff necked about it, and just the notion that you would do anything for a man, that you would uh, follow order and structure, and her reaction, you already know what kind of woman she is. Talking about good mom, bad choices. Clearly, she's still making bad choices. And this again is why you talk to women about various topics and you throw things out to them and you even ask them their body count, not because you're worried, because you believe she's going to tell you the truth, because you want to see what kind of reaction you get. And just seeing how this woman reacts, you know to stay away from her. She has a derogatory view as a man who doesn't deserve to be served in the marriage. She thinks she's there just to be served, not to do any serving. She doesn't come to the ministry of marriage to serve, but only to be served. And she doesn't think much of men. That's why that bothers her so much, because she feels she's superior to men and children are also superior and to be worshipped. What you don't want is children being neglected for some new spouse. But again, there's not a dichotomy between either you neglect your kids to attend to your spouse, or you have to neglect your spouse to take care of your kids. No, again, everybody gets their proper care in the in the household as is needed. So from the wife, she gives proper care and attention to her husband that he requires, and to the children as they require. Likewise, the husband gives proper attention to his wife as she needs, and proper attention to his children as they need from him. This should not be a thing of a matter of a competition. And what you also want to, I think, just keep in mind is that you want to be looking at it from a standpoint of I think what people are trying to, or what people are looking at it from a standpoint of, better yet, is kind of like this notion where your kid has a event at their school and your spouse has something that they want you to do. Who am I putting first? Well, everything is relative, and it's all to what is this thing that your kid has? Is it just one game that they have out of 30 this basketball season? And so what if you miss it because your husband needs you that day? Or is this a one-time play, a one-time recital that your child has that they've been working on in their music class for the last 3 or 4 months, and they really wanted you and needed you to be there for this one-time thing, and just going to a dinner party with your husband because it's some random party at his job, and whether you're there or not it doesn't really make a difference. Together you two could come to an understanding of, yeah, the child needs that support to have their mom there that night because they've been working on something for months and it's a big deal for them, where this is just something routine for you, kind of, and it's not that big a deal if she doesn't show up or she splits the time, whatever have you. And that's how things roll. But it's kind of like this whole thing of, I'm not going to serve the man dinner first. It's his house, his dinner, his food. The lion, the king of the pack, eats first. And to show disrespect to that man, and to demonstrate that disrespect and belittlement in front of the children, to tell them that they're on a pedestal to be worshipped, rather than to give the proper respect to the head of the household and provide him his plate first, which is, it's not some huge deal other than the the optics of it and the principle behind it, the fact that you're going out of your way to disrespect him and to do so in his house in front of whoever's children are in his house. They're basically his children if they're in his house at that point. And to disrespect that man like that is, even the fact that you have the desire to do that, says everything about you and says everything to a man that he needs to know about that woman. And you need to be away from her. But there shouldn't be this whole contention of creating this made up conflict about uh, spouse versus children. That's not the point of anything. You serve everybody in the family as they need to be served. That is our duty, both as men and women. Yobachi 2007, like me up. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments. Do you believe in having this competition of children versus spouse? I think it's a bunch of nonsense, and everything should just be done in proper order. Yobachi 2007, I'm out.